thinking you've been forgotten, thinking he's never coming back, that you didn't matter. Stop. He will come back. A man can chase 1,000 things, but he will always return to the woman who gave him something he can't find anywhere else. Peace. Your absence is a wound, and believe me, his soul will never, ever let him forget it. Ladies and gentlemen, listen up. I need you to hear something today, not want to, but need to. Because there's a woman out there right now who thinks she's been forgotten. She's convinced he's never coming back. She believes she didn't matter. Baby, stop right there. He will, without a doubt, come back. Let me tell you something about men that most people don't realize until it's too late. Men are out there chasing a lot of things. Money, success, status, other women, validation. They get distracted. They run wild. They make foolish choices and mess up good things because they think there's something better out there. But let me give you the honest, unfiltered truth. A man will always return to where he found both peace and purpose. Do you hear me? Not just love, not just beauty, but peace and purpose. That combination is rare. That's home. Peace isn't just the absence of drama or a quiet house. Peace is a woman who doesn't try to fix him every day, but inspires him to fix himself. It's when he comes home and doesn't have to perform or prove anything. He can just breathe. He can just be. And I don't care how far a man runs. Once he's had that, once he's tasted that level of comfort and connection, he will feel the weight of its absence wherever he goes. He can lie to himself and act like he's fine, but deep down, he knows he walked away from something sacred. Now, let's talk about purpose. A man without purpose is like a ship without a sail. He can drift for years without even realizing he's lost direction. But when he meets a woman who brings purpose into his life, everything changes. I'm not saying she gives him purpose. That's his job. But the right woman, she amplifies it. She sees his dreams before they take shape. She speaks life into him when the world speaks doubt. She reminds him of what he's capable of. She doesn't push him to become someone else. She helps him become more of himself. Men always come back, but why? That kind of energy, that kind of belief. It will haunt a man in the best possible way. So, what happens when he's foolish enough to think that kind of peace and purpose can be found anywhere else? I'll tell you, he enters a wilderness. He might not realize it at first. He might even think he's upgraded with new faces, new thrills, and more fun. But soon he starts feeling empty. When you've had a woman who saw the man in you, who loved your soul, not just your smile, you start noticing the difference. That new silence becomes deafening. The peace he once had becomes a desperate craving. The loss of purpose becomes a mirror, showing him how truly lost he is. That's why men circle back. That's why you'll get a text months or even years later. Hey, just checking on you. Or I was just thinking about everything we shared. He's not just being polite. He's testing the waters, trying to see if that peace and purpose still live where he left them. Because no matter what he tells the world, he remembers. He remembers how you made him feel. He remembers the man he was becoming when he was with you. And he remembers how he let it all slip through his fingers. Let me be real with you. Some men have to fall flat on their face before they understand the weight of what they've lost. They have to go through heartbreak, loneliness, and a few fake connections before they finally recognize the real deal. But when they do, the memory of that peace, the taste of that purpose, it becomes something they chase again. Not out of desperation, but out of hunger. They want to feel whole again, and the last place they felt that was with you. So, don't underestimate what you brought to that man's life. Don't think he forgot. Men might act strong, distant, or even cold, but trust me, when a man has had a woman who gave him peace and purpose, he will return. Not because he misses attention, but because he misses alignment. That's the real truth. Let me explain something to all the ladies out there, because sometimes you don't even realize how powerful you are until silence becomes your strategy. When a woman gets quiet, gets focused, and starts leveling up without saying a word, she becomes unforgettable. Men don't forget the woman who transformed herself in peace. They might not say it, they might act like they've moved on, but deep down, they're watching. They're remembering. They're wondering how the same woman they thought they left behind is now the one they can't stop thinking about. There's a certain power in silence that most people don't understand. They think silence means you gave up, that you're weak, or that you have nothing to say. But a real man, one who's paying attention, knows silence speaks volumes, especially when it comes from a woman he once knew intimately. When she stops calling, stops checking in, and stops trying to fix things, that's when the shift happens. That's when her glow up begins, and it's not just physical. It's mental, emotional, and spiritual. That woman is evolving. She's no longer stuck in the pain, she's now pouring into herself. And let me tell you, when a woman starts investing the love she used to give him back into herself, man, that's a game changer. That's when she becomes a force. She's elevating her mindset, walking differently, and talking differently. She's not posting quotes for attention or trying to make him jealous. She doesn't need to. The silence, the absence, it speaks for her. He starts to notice. He starts wondering why she isn't reacting like she used to, why she isn't chasing him anymore, and why she isn't trying to convince him she's worth it. That's when he realizes she always was, and now she knows it too. Let's be clear. A woman who glows up in silence is not trying to prove anything to him. She's not waiting for his approval. She's not secretly hoping he comes running back. No, she's healing. She's building. She's learning that her value isn't tied to who stays or who walks away. It's tied to who she becomes when she's alone. And the truth is, that woman becomes unforgettable not because she stayed in his face, but because she left with dignity and didn't look back. That's the kind of woman that haunts a man's memory. Have you ever wondered why some women, even years later, still live rent-free in a man's mind? It's not always about what they did during the relationship. Sometimes it's about what they did after, how they took that heartbreak and turned it into power, how they elevated without bitterness, how they remained graceful while he expected revenge. That right there, that's rare, that's royalty, and that's why he can't shake her. People think you have to yell and scream and make noise to be remembered. But I'm telling you, there's a different kind of presence, a quiet, unshakable confidence that never leaves a man's spirit. And when that woman walks into a room again, even if it's been months or years, he feels it in his bones. Not because she's trying to make a scene, but because her energy walks ahead of her. That's the result of leveling up in silence. The truth is, silence isn't weakness, it's wisdom, it's restraint, it's knowing when to stop explaining yourself and start upgrading your life. It's refusing to sit in rooms where you're not seen. It's letting the results speak louder than the pain. And when a woman does that, oh, believe me, he notices. He might not reach out right away. His pride might hold him back, but he notices. He compares, he replays, he regrets. So when you, as a woman, choose to level up in silence, no posts, no updates, no pleas, you become the chapter he never really finished. You become the standard he now uses to measure everyone else. And that kind of woman, she doesn't chase, she attracts. She doesn't beg, she builds. And that's why no matter where he goes, no matter who he's with, he won't forget you. Let me tell you something else about men and value. A lot of men don't know what they really have until it's gone. That's not just a cliche, it's the truth. Sometimes the only way a man can recognize a woman's worth is when her presence is no longer a part of his daily life. It's that absence, that sudden silence, that missing piece that brings everything into focus for him. When a woman who was always there suddenly isn't picking up the phone, isn't checking in, and isn't reacting like she used to, it sends a shock to his system. It makes him sit back and realize, wait a minute, something real is missing. You see, when you're always available, always pouring into him, always showing up, some men get too comfortable. They start thinking your loyalty is guaranteed. They take your care for granted. They start assuming that you'll always be there no matter what. But when you walk away, when you stop giving him the energy that's when the shift begins. That's when he's forced to face a reality he never wanted to see, a life without you. And let me tell you something, baby, that reality hits hard. Your absence becomes a mirror, and in it, he sees everything he failed to do, everything he said wrong, everything he didn't say when he had the chance. And that mirror doesn't lie. While he was busy playing games, you were being real. While he was distracted, you were dedicated. While he was unsure, you were all in. But now you're gone. That peace, that laughter, that support you gave so effortlessly is gone too. And he's left with a silence that's louder than any words. It's funny how a man can ignore you for days or weeks, even months, but let you go quiet, let you disappear, let you pull all that love back. And suddenly, he notices. Suddenly, he remembers. That's the power of absence. It doesn't just remove you from his world. It forces him to confront what life feels like without your presence in it. It reminds him that nothing he's chasing is matching what he lost. The dates feel dry. The conversations are surface level. The peace is gone. The energy is off, because what you brought to his life was never ordinary. It was sacred. And now that it's missing, it feels like a wound. Now listen, a man may not admit this out loud. His pride might not let him send that text right away. He might try to pretend he's fine. He might even post pictures, laugh with new faces, and act completely unbothered. But don't let that fool you. A man can be in a room full of people and still feel the emptiness you left behind. Your absence reveals the emotional weight you carried. It shows him that you weren't just someone in his life. You were the light, the balance, the woman who truly saw him. And once he realizes that, it's hard to unsee it. Some of the most unforgettable women aren't unforgettable because they made a scene. They're unforgettable because when they left, they took something irreplaceable with them. They took that warmth, that peace, that genuine love. And no matter how many women he talks to after you, none of them fill that void. What he had with you wasn't common. And absence makes that truth louder than anything you could ever say. So, if you ever doubt your worth because he walked away, remember this. Your absence is revealing everything your presence couldn't. It's teaching him the hard way. It's opening his eyes because now he's not looking at what he had. He's feeling what he lost. And that kind of realization, that kind of regret, doesn't fade quickly. It lingers. It plays back at night. It whispers in his quiet moments. And that's why no matter how far he runs, he'll always circle back to the memory of you. Let me break something down for the ladies out there who keep wondering what kind of message to send when a man is slipping away. Should you text him, tell him how much you care, pour your heart out in hopes he wakes up and sees your worth? No, you don't have to send anything at all, because confidence and self-respect are louder than any message you could type. That's the only message that actually sticks in a man's heart. And believe me, it doesn't just stick. It echoes. Here's the thing about men, we hear words all the time. Women texting us, calling us, begging us to understand, to commit, to see them. After a while, It all just blends together. But when a woman steps back, when she closes the door with grace, and carries herself like she knows exactly what she brings to the table, and refuses to sit where she's not respected, now that's loud. That speaks volumes, that shakes a man up. A woman who values herself doesn't have to yell. She doesn't have to argue or repeat herself. She doesn't need to remind you of her worth. She shows you in how she holds her boundaries, how she doesn't chase, and how she walks away from confusion like it's beneath her. And a man might play tough when she leaves, but deep down, that confidence is messing with his head. He's thinking, dang, she really meant what she said. And it hits different when you realize she's not bluffing. She's not Trevay's trying to get attained. She's just done, and she's not bitter about it either. She's peaceful. And that calm confidence, man, that's unforgettable. You see, when a woman has real self-respect, she doesn't settle for breadcrumbs. She doesn't tolerate half-effort or hut-hand, cold behavior. She doesn't sit around trying to decode mixed signals. She knows love should be clear, and when it's not, she gets clear. And that clarity looks like walking away. The moment she does, the man starts hearing her loud and clear, not through her words, but through her actions. And it doesn't stop there. That same woman, the one who walks away with her dignity, she starts to glow. She starts leveling up. She starts shining in rooms he never expected her to be in. While he's out here trying to figure out what happened, she's moving on. Not out of revenge, not to make him jealous, but because she knows that her life doesn't stop just because one man couldn't see her worth. She's living the message, she's walking in it. That's why she stays on his mind. That's why her name comes up in conversations even years later. Because he remembers the one who didn't beg, didn't plead, and didn't fold. He remembers the woman who stood tall, loved hard, and left when she wasn't honored. A man might not respect a woman who throws her worth at his feet, but he will always remember the one who knew her worth and never made him the center of it. That kind of woman leaves a lasting impression. That kind of confidence can't be faked. It's not loud, but it's firm. It's not desperate, but it's decisive. And it shows him something most women don't. That love is a gift, not a guarantee. When you want to send a message, send it without sending it. Hold your head high, move in silence, upgrade your life, and stay in your peace. Let your confidence do the talking, and your self-respect do the walking. Because those two things speak straight to a man's soul. He may not admit it, but he hears it loud and clear. He sees it when he checks your page and notices you're glowing without him. He feels it when your energy is no longer available to him. That's when he realizes you weren't just another woman, you were the standard. And that kind of message doesn't need words. It lives forever. Let me tell you something about how men operate, especially when it comes to love and regret. A man's ego is a powerful thing. It's loud, it's stubborn, and sometimes it keeps him from doing what he knows is right. It'll tell him to walk away from a good woman. It'll convince him he doesn't need her. It'll even lie to him and say he can find better. But that's the ego talking. The soul, that's a whole different voice. The soul doesn't lie. And when that man lays down at night, when all the noise dies down and he's left alone with his thoughts, that's when the soul starts whispering. Believe me when I tell you, his soul will seek you again. His ego will fight against vulnerability. It'll tell him not to call, to act unbothered, to move on quickly, to replace you like you were just a phase. But deep down, that man knows. He knows you weren't just anybody. You were the one who stood by him when he didn't even believe in himself. You were the one who made him feel like he mattered, not for what he had, but for who he was. And when that connection is real, when that bond is spiritual, emotional, and deep, It doesn't just fade. His ego might want to forget, but his soul will not let it. There comes a point when the parties stop being fun, when the attention from other women doesn't feel the same, when the distractions just don't hit right. That's when the soul starts remembering. It remembers the late night talks. It remembers how you looked at him like he was more than his mistakes. It remembers how your energy made him feel safe, how your love made him want to be a better man. And the more he tries to cover that up with his ego, the more it starts to weigh on him, because the truth always finds its way back. Always, and listen, that's so. Laking doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's subtle. It's him scrolling through old pictures he swore he deleted. It's him replaying your laugh in his head when he's with someone else. It's him hearing your favorite song and getting quiet. That's not weakness. Profited from THAT ad toral cannot complacency. Why soft? That's memory meeting emotion, and that right there, that's his soul tugging on his heart. Real connection leaves fingerprints on a man's soul, and when he loses that, it doesn't matter how big his ego is. He's going to feel that absence. It may take weeks, months, sometimes even years, but it's coming. And that's when his pride starts to crack. That's when he starts asking himself, did I mess up something that was meant for me? And the answer, more often than not, is yes. But by the time he comes around to admitting it, you've already elevated. You've already done the work. You've already learned to love yourself the way you used to love him. And that right there is the moment he realizes what he really lost. Because now he's not just chasing the memory of you. He's chasing the version of himself he was when he was with you. That man who felt peace, who felt loved, who had a reason to grow. And now that you're gone, his ego isn't enough to fill that space. Only his soul knows what's missing. So don't think for a second that he forgot. Don't believe the front. That's just his ego talking. Behind the pride, behind the silence, behind the smiles, that man is searching. Not for another woman, but for that feeling again. And the one who gave it to him, that was you. His ego might fight it, but his soul, oh, his soul will remember, and it will keep seeking what it lost until he either comes back humbled or spends the rest of his life trying to replace something that can't be replaced. Ladies, if there's one thing I want you to remember, it's this. You don't chase kings. You build a kingdom he can't forget. Too many women waste their time running after a man, trying to prove they're good enough, trying to be chosen. The truth is, queens don't chase, they build. They build something so powerful, so beautiful, so peaceful that the man who walked away has no choice but to remember what he gave up. A real queen knows her worth. She knows she's not here to decorate a man's life. She's here to elevate it. She doesn't need to remind him who she is. Her actions, her energy, her presence, they speak for themselves. When a woman locks in on her growth, on her vision, on her healing, she becomes a whole kingdom. And a man might be out here running around thinking he's the prize. But when he sees that woman building her own world without him, that's when he starts questioning everything. You see, chasing a man doesn't get you love, it gets you drained, but building a kingdom, that brings love to your doorstep. A woman who knows how to take her pain and turn it into power, who knows how to rise without revenge, who knows how to build without bitterness. That woman becomes unforgettable. She doesn't have to say, look at me now. She just shines. She moves with peace. She upgrades quietly. In that glow, that's what haunts him. You think men forget the woman who stood by them, lifted them, and supported them? No, they remember her, but you know what they remember even more. The moment she stopped waiting and started building. That moment she stopped asking, why me, and started saying, watch me. Because now she's operating in her purpose. She's not waiting to be picked. She's planting seeds. She's turning her life into something so whole, so complete, that no man can walk through it without feeling like he left something divine behind. And don't get it twisted. It's not about making him jealous. It's not about revenge. It's about choosing yourself. It's about realizing that your energy, your heart, and your love are sacred, and they don't belong on the discount shelf. When a woman finally understands that, she stops trying to convince a man to be a king and instead focuses on being a queen, with or without him. Conclusion: a real man, one who's grown, healed, and secure, he isn't looking for someone to chase him. He's looking for a woman who is already in motion, already building, already becoming. That's the woman he respects. That's the woman he regrets losing. And when he walks through the world and doesn't feel that same energy again, that's when it hits him. That's when he looks back and sees you not just as the girl he used to talk to, but as the woman who created a space no one else has come close to. So if he walked away, let him. If he couldn't see the value in you when you were pouring into him, let him feel the absence of your royalty now that you've pulled your energy back. Let your life speak for itself. Build your peace, your joy, your purpose so strong that it becomes a place he can never truly leave behind in his heart. Because you didn't just love him, you built something with him. And now that he's gone, that space still carries your touch. That's why you don't chase kings. Any man worthy of you will recognize your kingdom and find his way back with humility. And if he doesn't, that's fine too, because your crown doesn't tilt based on who stays or who leaves. You build, you shine, and you reign. And in the end, he will remember the kingdom and the queen he walked away from. If you liked this video, found it helpful, and feel motivated, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, leave a comment and share it with your friends and family.